Back to the beautiful game, and there's a big stuff happening in Africa, of course, South Africa this afternoon, this evening, just about a few hours. The PSL, of course, is the MTN 8 finals, and of course, we're going to have Orlando Pirates against Stellenbosch.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing is that these were the same teams last year.
Yes.
What's happening to the rest of the teams? What's happening to Mamelodi? Why did you let the same teams play back-to-back finals?
Yeah, exactly. Orlando Pirates actually knocked out Sundowns on penalties after they played 1-1, and I mean, it was a repeat
that match. Look, I don't joke with Sundowns. I know Sundowns have had recent dominance, which are, Orlando Pirates. But you see, I was that match as an investor. That match, Sundowns did not try for me. They didn't try for me. But let's take a look at the lineup now. This was just their last match. This was Chippa United. You understand? This was Chippa United against Orlando Pirates and all of that. Who amongst this lineup? What are we expecting to start this game? Magopa gave a great performance there. From what we can see, Apolis was man of the match based on this. He had an 8.3 rating there. Sebelebele, of course, quite a good performance there. Quite very high. They came up quite well. What are we expecting to start today's fixture?
I think they will be riding on the high because most of their players actually represented South Africa, especially in that game against Nigeria. So they had
that's
seven players.
Why we're going to take a look at this here. These guys were how many of them were? About how many of them?
7 players. They had 7 players in South African squad. And even though Magopa was not even there, but the likes of Apolis was there, Mbokazi was the man of the match against Nigeria. He's their player.
Man of the match against Nigeria.
Yes, he was the man of the match against Nigeria. Mbokazi. Sebelebele is not really a starter, but then for their team, and they even sold this guy that gave Calvin Bassey problems. This Nkota, he was their former player. Yeah. So I think Orlando Pirates, maybe not really the best starts to the season domestically. Okay. They've had 3 wins in their last 5, actually 2 draws. But then they will be coming off that 3-0 win against Chippa United into this final. And I think Stellenbosch should be out for blood because, they felt cheated in the last year's final because Orlando Pirates' second goal was...
That was a 3-1, right,
yes,
for them?
Orlando Pirates' second goal to them was disallowed. It wasn't supposed to be allowed, but then it went on and they won the game 3-1, talking about Orlando Pirates, and they'll be hoping to do it again. But Stellenbosch also, they are not a team to, they fought their way to the final and they won't be...
So you're saying that they're going to be in high spirits after a number of these players were in camp against Nigeria at that rugby pitch, by the way, Bloemfontein.
Yes. But this one we played in a better pitch.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that these players from that high, you expect them to do better, and we expect Orlando Pirates to pick that today.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's see if we can take a look at Stellenbosch and what they will come up with here when it comes to this particular match. Now, Stellenbosch in their last match were up against Mamelodi, my team, of course. Stellenbosch lost at home. Let's look at the lineups here. What we're expecting, of course, the Young there, the Skiba. We also have Titus, Goodswill, Stevens, Stanich. What are you expecting from a lineup for Stellenbosch up against Orlando Pirates?
I think they will have to do better because the game against Sundown is like it was like Sundown was one even missing chances. They got to go through Peter Shalulili, but then the likes of the Young, the likes of Kiba, they haven't really maybe hit the ground in this season. Also, a slow start for Stellenbosch. It's like 2 teams having a slow start, but it seems better for Orlando Pirates. And I think at the Mabella Stadium, Orlando Pirates, they know how to get their wins from there. And I think they're going to do it again against Stellenbosch. But Stellenbosch should be coming with that. You guys beat us in last year. We don't want it to happen again. It was a tightly contested affair until that second goal for Orlando Pirates.
So that second goal was...
Yeah, but I think right now, with the fact that coming off their players against Nigeria and the fact that they also won last year's game and they also won their last game against Chippa United.
We're calling
I think it will be tilting towards Orlando Pirates.
For Orlando Pirates,
It should be tilting towards Orlando Pirates. And they have our player. Okay. I think Olisa Onda is injured actually, but then you still be there supporting the team. Their coach may not be appearing for them. That's talking about Jose Rivero. I think he's been fired, but they will still be going on.
Okay, you can see across Europe. Those games is not across Europe, please. This is in South Africa. It's not actually Europe, all right? Okay, but so for us now, we're calling this for...
It's a final and it's a neutral stadium, but I think Orlando Pirates will take the day.
All right, so Orlando Pirates will take that line. Okay, so let's leave that one now. Then let's actually head to Europe. Oh, sorry about that error there with that particular one. Let's head to Europe, and I think that maybe we might just start. Okay, let's start from the main one, the one that we talk about. Of course, the lineup is already out when it comes to Arsenal up against Nottingham Forest. Let's see if we can. Okay. Let's see if we can get to see the lineups here while this is going. 12:30, of course. Let's rush over and see what we can see if lineups are here. But okay, Mia. Okay, let's take a look at it here. All right, the lineups are already out, and of course, any shock here? Looking at both teams, any shock here, especially from the Arsenal side? Eberechi starts, Victor Gyökeres is in the middle, Noni Madueke, of course, is expected as Bukayo Saka was not there. Zubimendi, Odegaard, of course, Mosquera, Magalhaes, Calafiori, Timber. Any shock?
I think Arteta just realized the fact that he should be playing Eberechi. This is someone that played in the Premier League, and he couldn't start him against Liverpool. He's using 3 defensive players, but now I think the surprising one is just Declan Rice being benched. It won't be fair on the FPL players, but then Eze starting, Gyökeres also starting. I think it will be an issue for, maybe it might be a new manager bounce, but I don't think it will be because they were having a poor result, under Santo. But now there is Ange Postecoglou, Ange-Ball, I-line. You should come and play it at the FA Stadium. Though we know that sometimes early kickoffs are not usually the best on big teams. They don't have the best effect on big teams, but I think Arsenal will negotiate Nottingham Forest.
Is there any effect that the new coach that's talking about
Ange
Postecoglou is going to have over this particular Nottingham Forest team?
It will be a change of style, most definitely, because we know the way he plays. Santo, he got that team spirit, together. The players are actually playing for him, but unfortunately, that issue with Marinakis happened, and now he brought in his countryman. That's talking about Ange Postecoglou. It will be a change. The players will have to take to him. I don't think he has done many training sessions with them. They just came back from the international break, but then as the season wears on, we'll see the effect it has on the players. But right now, it's too early to call. I think Arsenal will take that one.
All right. Let's see what we can do now when it comes to the games, and this is strictly for investors. Arsenal Nottingham Forest, who goes with that match?
Arsenal is going to win, and
Arsenal is straight win. It's straight win for Arsenal, right? Yeah. That's what it's going to be. For me, I don't think that it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a straight win for Arsenal, so let's give that W there to Arsenal. Bournemouth are off against Brighton and Hove.
I say a straight draw here because I know Brighton will be riding on that wave that they defeated Manchester City, but Bournemouth as well.
For me, it's a 1.5, and for you go.
Be goals. I go with the draw.
All right, Crystal Palace against Sunderland. What are your thoughts there?
Sunderland they've also started not so bad in the Premier League, but I think Crystal Palace
with Maguire, and after what happened, right?
Yeah, so they kept Gueye, they kept their coach. I think they will get.
Okay, so put your score there. What are you putting for Crystal Palace?
W.
The W for Crystal Palace.
Yes.
Quite interesting. Everton will be up against Aston Villa. Everton are coming to play. Aston Villa are just trying to pick up after a bad start.
And Jagulish is chasing a record, for consecutive assists to do 2 assists, in 3 consecutive games.
Yeah.
I say a 1.5.
A 1.5.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's all of that. Fulham will be up against Leeds.
2 teams that you can't really call, but there should be goals.
There should be goals, right?
Yes.
Okay. Newcastle, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Tolu Arokodare. Should make his debut
against Wissa.
Against
Voltemada.
Vissa is not going to play. Vissa is injured, Eddie Howe has mentioned that he's not going to play. So what are your thoughts for this particular one?
I think Newcastle should win. Newcastle should win. A straight win for Newcastle.
I'll say home or draw.
But I think Newcastle will win.
Home or draw, all right? Okay, yeah. West Ham United up against Tottenham Hotspur.
West Ham win.
Against Thomas Frank?
West Ham, they had a poor start to the season, but then they picked up points. I think West Ham should win against
West Ham should win that. Okay, all right. Let's see this one now. Let's take a look at the other matches that happen. Brentford will be up against Chelsea. Burnley will up against Liverpool, and Manchester City, of course, against Manchester United. Let's do Brentford Chelsea. That's at 8 o'clock this night to wrap up today.
Brentford, they've lost their best players and also their manager. I think Chelsea will.
So we'll give a Chelsea win here, all right?
Yes.
Okay, Burnley will be up against Liverpool.
Come on, that's a Liverpool win.
Now, this is what we're talking about. Manchester United up against Manchester City at home at the Etihad. What are your thoughts for this particular one?
Over 1.
1.5. Yes. I just want to make it too safe. Can just want to go safe and just
2.5.
2.5.
Yes.
Make it a 2.5. Okay. All right. Well, that goes for that now. We're done with the EPL. Let's take a look at the La Liga. Take a look at some of the matches that are going to be happening here. Of course, the big one has to be Sociedad. I think it will be up against Real Madrid, and all of that. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts for this one for the La Liga?
Well, I think Real Madrid should still do that because Sociedad they've also not had the best of starts in La Liga, and Real Madrid. We know that their game looks like a bit shaky at times, but then I think Real Madrid they're going to settle that one and negotiate Real Sociedad. It might not be easy at Anoeta, but I think Real Madrid are going to take the day. Okay,
let's take a look at. We also have Atletico up against Alaves, Real Sociedad, of course, like mentioned against Real Madrid, Getafe up against
Atletico Madrid against Villarreal.
What is wrong with Atletico Madrid? And all of that.
What is wrong with Atletico Madrid? I mean, with their attacking options, their signings as well, I think Simeone is trying to tell us that, hey, we are still playing the defensive style.
They are behaving. They are performing very, 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 very badly
against teams that you should be beating.
Against teams that you should be beating, exactly. You're very right. Against teams that you should be beating. Yeah. Okay, but then Sevilla, of course, had that win against. It was not a win. It ended the 2-2 draw against Elche.
Yes.
Getafe, of course, like we mentioned, against Oviedo, and then we also have Atletico Deportivo Alavés. For this one, what happens here? Athletic Club versus Deportivo Alavés.
Athletic Club should win at the San Mames.
All right, Real Sociedad up against, okay, but mention that one. Atletico Villarreal, Celta Vigo, Girona. You just give goals.
There should be goals. Yes.
You just give goals. This is not La Liga. Levante will be up against Real Betis, Osasuna against Rayo Vallecano. Barcelona is a straight win for them.
Speaking of Levante against Real Betis, the GOAT is back. Talking about Anthony for Real Betis.
Okoli.
No, he's the GOAT now. He's no longer the fidget spinner. He's the GOAT.
And then, of course, Barcelona up against Valencia, and of course, the weekend will be Espanyol against Mallorca. What are your thoughts for that particular one?
Goals.
You do?
Yeah,
you do goals for that particular one?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Let's wrap up with Serie A. Of course, it's been quite interesting when it comes to Serie A as it is. Let's take a look at the fixtures, of course, for this one. This will be match day 3. Okay, let's look at all of them. There we have them here. Cagliari will be up against Parma then, but let's start with this big one here. Juventus will be up against Inter by 5 o'clock today. Derby Italia. What are your thoughts for this particular one?
Yeah, for me, I think it's Jonathan David against Marcos Thuram. But I think Inter should take that because, but Juve, you never can tell the kind of Juve that will perform, that will come outside. But then they've made good signings. Luis Openda is with them now. They also have Jonathan David.
We might not be very sure. All right, but champions will be up against Fiorentina, of course, with the KDB in that side and the McTominay. I would go for goals or a Napoli win for this particular one.
Really well. For the investors, you can go for goals, but I will go for a Napoli win.
For a Napoli win. Roma will be up against Torino. Atalanta, is Ademola Lookman going to start?
It's not looking like he's
not going to start. He has not trained well. He has not trained enough with the team. It's not looking like he's going to start. Pisa up against Udinese, Sassuolo will be up against Lazio. Milan will be against Bologna. Now this is big because of the Marseille rivalry. Both players. That's talking about
Rabiot and Jonathan Rowe.
But
Rabiot has come out to say. Rabiot has actually come out to say they have a good relationship now. But then I expect the fighting to continue. But I think Milan will take it.
All right. Okay. All right. That's it. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you so much, Hafiz, for making it on the show this morning. Hellas Verona will take on Cremonense, and then Como will take on Genoa. That's how it's going to be for across Europe. Just stay with us. There'll be a lot across the week as it goes, of course. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you, Hafiz. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.